I feel compelled to begin this answer by reiterating that I would never run for president. It's an awful job. Also, I'm not currently running for president, so this answer will lack details. My platform would be focused almost solely on what a president actually has authority over, which would place the pillars of that platform within the agencies of the executive branch. I would have a strong emphasis on working with allies to pursue competitive balance with tech and energy powerhouses like China and Russia. This would require strong attention paid to modernizing and strengthening our alliances in Europe, building better relationships in Southeast Asia, and developing a more cohesive long-term strategy in Africa. It would also require a more deliberate approach to achieving durable alignment in the Western Hemisphere. I would elevate Canada and Mexico as more prominent strategic partners instead of treating them like glorified client states. This would include taking immigration agreements with Mexico to their studs. The president can't write immigration policy, but they have a lot of influence over how Mexico and the US manages current policy. I would run on large investments in infrastructure along the southern border, but those investments would be in the form of legal, social, and economic infrastructure more than defensive infrastructure. The overarching goal would be to make North America the strongest political and economic bloc in the world. My defense platform would be focused on not starting new foreign military engagements and using diplomacy and economic pressure to end ongoing atrocities. Also, I would sign a defense budget smaller than its predecessor. My economic, financial, and monetary platform would be focused on growing domestic production of component goods, revitalizing competition, restoring labor rights, and fighting for the resources needed for regulators like the SEC to be able to do their jobs. I would seek to appoint an attorney general who is prepared to aid in these efforts. I would also push for a Justice Department that creates a legacy of rooting out and prosecuting wage theft, political corruption, and domestic terrorism. I'd also run on wanting to restructure the Departments of Education, Energy, and Environmental Protection. I want a Department of Education whose primary focus is the evaluation and distribution of resources, a Department of Energy whose primary focus is energy security instead of nuclear weapons, and an EPA that's focused on knowing the state of the environment, setting and enforcing environmental standards, and pursuing environmental justice. Its mandate would be environmental security and public health. What you wouldn't see is much of a legislative policy agenda, and that would be purposeful. We've come to look at the president as a super legislator, and it's a huge problem. We value them based on their ability to achieve legislative accomplishments, and we need to stop. That's not the president's job, and it lets our legislators off the hook. If you're upset about legislative failures, talk to your senators and representatives, not the president. This would undoubtedly make it impossible for me to win a primary, much less take office, but if I did, I would make the following legislative recommendations to the incoming Congress. Eliminate the filibuster, illegalize gerrymandering, abolish the Electoral College, make the Senate representative, negate the Reapportionment Act of 1929, create national standards for federal primaries, overturn Citizens United, decide whether existing U.S. territories will be granted independence or statehood, make DC a state, expand the Supreme Court, and create term lengths for justices. Thanks for watching, and thanks for the question.